Alright, so you've managed to sneak up on the enemy tank. From here, what do you do? If your first answer isn't to throw some grenades at it, then relocate, use your AT gun, and blast away anybody near you, then you're dead, your squad is dead, your team is losing, your parents hate you, and your girlfriend's cheating on you because you are a terrible assault player. So in this guide, we are going to get better together as we go over the mechanics as well as some of the best weapons on this kit. And one of the best places to start, I think, is with this AT rocket gun, or as I like to call it, the AT sniper. It is a super accurate rocket-propelled grenade, and this is pretty much going to be your primary weapon at medium to long distances. And we're not going to get too in-depth in regards to the primary guns because I think it's going to take me a little bit longer. We're going to cover that in the next video. We're going to concentrate on the more important parts, which I think is actually learning to use this thing. So where we're going to start is by using the AT gun on infantry because you're going to need it as a backbone to your kit because you don't have too much long or medium engagement power. Once we're done getting our aim down on the infantry, we're going to move the video over to taking on vehicles. So we're going to go over some of the mechanics right now. If you notice in the first clip, I actually shot my AT gun before the aimer actually came up. And I think that's a really important maneuver to do because it cuts down on the time that it takes to set up to shoot it. It's a lot harder to actually aim it because the reticle isn't there, but if you can judge it out for yourself, you're going to be able to shoot off your AT gun in those panic situations. If you're somebody that uses a lot of bipods, you probably notice that there's actually a lot of things that you can set it up. I know that a lot of people always look at windowsills or lying down to set up their bipods, but the thing is a lot of the debris can actually be used, like even just logs, elevated rocks. There's a lot of positions that you can actually put your AT gun down without lying down. And those are the kind of positions you do want to find because lying down is typically a liability, you're an easy target. But one of the bad things about finding these unconventional places to mount your bipod is that if it's all jagged, it's not smooth or symmetrical, sometimes it'll get caught, and even when you're turning your character, the bipod will come off, so then you can't shoot it, and the animation will change really quickly, and it can be a missed opportunity. So sometimes you want to find a spot and then kind of stay within it instead of side strafing with it if you're going to be using these unconventional places. And how easy is it to actually land these AT shots on people? I would say that it's actually not that hard. If you even use this AT rocket gun moderately, you're going to notice that it actually has very little bullet drop, and that adds to its ease of use. Like, look at the compensation here. Like, that's not that much. Because it also has a decent blast radius, a low bullet drop, it's pretty easy to compensate and pick up kills off of it. Even if you don't kill somebody outright, it's going to make it really easy to pick them off with your primary gun. And this is one of those extended clips because I wanted to show you guys how much I actually use the AT gun. This is not just something you use for montage. I think sometimes see secondary, and that's how they actually use it as a secondary all the time, when that's not always the case. This thing is actually needs to be used side by side with your primary if you want to do well with this class. I've always found that the biggest struggle it has is at medium and long range, and this gun just covers you there. You don't want to be challenging guys outright. You have to use all the things that your kit offers you. And I think what this kit is really special for is the AT gun as well as the quantity of grenades it has. That's what I think makes this class so strong. And when I changed over from the TNT to the extra grenades, I have to say that that's really the game changer for me. Having all those explosives available really makes it easy to capture a point, or at least heavily contest choke points. That's where I found it was really good. When you have this many grenades on Argonon Forest, oh my god, you are just beastie. And I don't even know if that's what it's called, Argonon. I never really read the name. I'm just like the forest, the slaughterhouse, the cheaper version of the Metro. That was the worst level. And for all the hate I actually have for that level, the Metro was probably one of the coolest experiences when you actually had your team and you were part of this big push that got you through one of those choke points. I have to say that was one of the coolest battlefield experiences I've ever had. That's where Call of Duty just could not keep up. So this is my last tip in regards to the vehicles. Watch for people that actually run out. If you can actually hold out your fire, and if somebody on your team manages to take their tank, that's actually a really big deal. So try to let them go. If not, blow them up as well. You actually get a lot of collateral kills from people that run out of the tank as it's weak, which is kind of nice. So we're going to be moving over to actually killing tanks, and this is probably one of the dirtiest jobs in Battlefield. Trust me, no one wants to go up against a tank. Every other class is like, well, not my problem, and they just turn their backs and they're like, go ahead, assault. And this is dirty. It's just dirty work. Good tank players are extremely hard to take out, especially if you're doing it on your own. So one of the strategies that I could give you, it's, well, good teammates. I'll tell you, that's actually the biggest part of taking out all vehicles. But if you don't have that, then what you're going to need is good aim and try to get as good a cover as you can. When you're shooting vehicles, most of them have some sort of armor plating that tries to deflect your shots. It tries to make it so they skip off the sides and then it gives you decreased damage. You can look at the damage numbers here. If something hits it more at a 90-degree angle, then it's going to do big damage, whether it's in the front, the side, or the back. Obviously, the easiest shot is on the side, and that's what you want to aim for, but sometimes that's not the shot that you have because of your position. So what I've learned about Battlefield is, unlike Battlefield 3, I would really put a lot of emphasis on positioning myself on the back of the tank because it gave you huge bonus damage. In this Battlefield, I'm more concerned with just getting it at a good angle that it's not going to skip off. That's what I find gives you the most consistent damage. So forget about trying to maneuver yourself to the back and just get shots off on it without getting them skipped off to the side. This slip is really important. It has a few of the elements that make this possible. It has teammates that are going to run some cover for you. Anything to distract the tank from you shooting AT at it is going to make a huge difference in the fight. After that, you're just compensating a little bit for the bullet drop. Pay attention to the enemy disable when they pop their smoke, because then you know they're going to be in the same position. If not, you can actually see the flash from their gun. So those are the kind of visual cues that you have when they try to do this play, and that's usually where they end up missing people. And that right there is the ace in the hole. Having somebody resupply you. If you're getting resupplied while taking on a tank, then things are going to go your way. You're not as worried about taking risky shots. You can start off at a distance and then move in on him. Consistently having AT rockets just means you can just let them fly. And now I'm not always going to have perfect aim, but I'm going to use all the things that I just told you guys about. Somebody was spotting earlier. From there, I'm going to go from the visuals. I just saw his cannon shoot. I am going to just take a shot in the dark here. The guy's still there and everything works out. Sometimes it's a little bit of luck, but obviously if you have extra bullets, it's going to make it a lot easier. Even out in the distance, if you're putting on low damage, it doesn't matter. It stops them from repairing, and it's a team aspect thing. Like, you shouldn't assume that you're the only one putting damage on it. I'm always trying to get even a little bit of damage on them because I know that it's going to make a big difference in this tank fight. So I didn't talk too much about it in this video, but I am going to talk about the grenades and what I think the best options are, the TNT versus the anti-tank grenades. So I wanted to show you guys this clip because I'm going to hit the tank directly on the tip. It is shaped like a wedge, and you can still get damage without getting your round skipping off of it if you hit it dead on in the center. And this is one of those good occurrences where the whole team is after this tank, because if you know that this tank is faster than you, if you're not on it right away, it's going to get away from you, and all that damage you just did on it is for nothing. So here I have a resupply on me, so I've been taking some pot shots. There's a tank at the top of the hill that I've been trying to help out with. And right now these shots are not super easy, but as you can see, they're also not super hard. I am going to compensate after that last shot, and we are going to start getting some damage on this tank. And again, I'm not expecting to actually kill it. Like, there's nothing keeping this tank driver from just moving out of the way. Like, my angle is very limited, but I'm thinking about the team. I'm like, hopefully somebody else is there getting some damage off on them. And let me tell you, I would be pretty pissed off if no one killed him, because look at how much I've been sacrificing the body for this guy. 0-4, but that's just the roll. But the thing is, whenever you get one of these kills, I think it's very satisfying. I think the scoring system should reflect that. Check out this explosion. Like, this is just satisfying to watch. It was like a mini little nuke. And then we're gonna hit this guy in the chest. The AT rocket, man, this thing, definitely use it a lot more. If you haven't been killed by this thing, I'm actually starting to find that I'm starting to get killed by this thing. I'm like, oh, you tricky bugger. What else are we gonna do? I think we're gonna be finishing up with a boat and some grenade use. And even though I didn't cover that in this video, that's what's gonna be on the next video. We're gonna talk about the primary guns as well, because I think the guns are actually really good for close quarter combat and decent at medium distance. It takes a little bit more skill because you have to do a lot more feathering, leading the shots and things like that, but it's still a very viable gun. So we'll do that in the next episode. If you guys have anything to add, make sure to leave it in the comment section. If it's anything to do with the primary guns or the grenades, then definitely leave it in the comment section, because then I can include that in the next video that I'll be putting out probably in the next few days. So again, thanks for watching. This is Game and Review. I'm Paper, cut to you, and I'll see you guys next time.